Hey, it's Ruby. Welcome to the April wrap up. First of all, I am so upset because I filmed the April reading journal wrap up. We did it together. I edited it. It was like 50 minutes long. And I'm sitting there uploading it and I rewatch it and because I typically don't watch my videos. I just post them. Like I finish editing it. It's like a one deal thing and whatever. But I rewatched it and it was just very shaky, and that's on me because I didn't stabilize the tripod and I knew that it was a little shaky. I tried to then go back and stabilize it in editing and it just wasn't looking well, so that sucks. But I did upload a short, so I did flip through it, which this April spread was so freaking cute, and I'm so upset that we didn't do it together because I actually really love how this one turned out. It's been my favorite, so yeah, check that out. I'll link it up top and down below. But let's jump right into the wrap up. Let's not dilly-dally. I read 14 books in the month of April. Not as much as I usually read, but I wasn't feeling amazing. I talked about it in the reading vlogs if you watch those. So yeah, but still 14 books, average star rating of 3.3, which wasn't that great. I had 1 5-star, 1 DNF. Let's start off with the DNF because it was Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross, which I know is an unpopular opinion because people love her books, but I just don't think she's for me. Like, I didn't love this book. I think I got like halfway and I picked it up multiple times and put it down. And I think like both times I started again and got up to like halfway and I couldn't do it. And I was at the point where she was finally going off to the Mortal Lands and the romance was going to start presumably, but I couldn't do it and I DNF'd it and that sucks. And I unhauled it because I had the beautiful edition, so I don't need to keep something that I DNF'd. Let's get into the books. I own half of them, so 7 of them I own and 7 of them I don't. So let's start off with the ones that I don't own because I feel like I read most of those in the beginning. So at the very start of the month I read My Husband's Wife. And this was an arc that I had gotten sent to me. Actually, no, it was an audio arc. Yeah, an audio arc that I got sent. And it came out in January and I just never got around to it. So I finally read it because I like to read all my arcs. And this was intriguing because the title already is crazy. My Husband's Wife. I was like, thinking domestic thriller, which is hit or miss for me. I'm not a huge thriller person, but from what I have read, it's like, okay, you know, I might like it. And it starts off with a bang. We have our main girl, I think her name's Eden, and she always goes off on a jog in the morning. She leaves her phone on the counter. She just grabs her keys, goes on a quick jog around the neighborhood, and then comes back. That's her routine. Page 1, chapter 1, that's what she does. She gets back home and her key will not open her front door. And she's like, why won't my key work? So she ends up, I guess, knocking. I can't remember if she knocks. But anyway, someone answers the door and it's this lady that looks like her, but just like an older version of her. And she's like, who are you? And she's like, I'm the owner of this house. And she's like, no, I'm the owner of this house. Like, what the hell are you doing in my home? And then, long story short, her husband, our girl's husband, comes to the door and he's like, what is it, honey? Like, and she's like, what do you mean? Like, you are my husband. And he's like, ma'am, get off her property or I'm calling the cops. And yeah, it just starts off like chapter 1, crazy. And yeah, all in all was fun. I did like the audiobook. It wasn't, you know, anything too crazy, nothing like super unexpected, but I did enjoy it for what it was and I gave it 3.5 stars. Then I read The Long Game, which I read the first book, The Game Changers, and then I read Heated Rivalry. I didn't love the Game Changers. Like, it was okay, but I didn't love them. And in Heated Rivalry, I did enjoy. I love the characters, but like the story, like I did like it, but there was a lot of spice in it. And I'm not a prude. Listen, I love a good spicy scene, but there was a lot of spice. I was like, damn, like that's just too much spice. That's like half the book. But, you know, we see past it. It was still hot. They're hot. It was hot. But I was just like, that's a lot of spice. Like in any book, it's not that long. And so that was like what kept me from loving it. This one was better. I did like this one better. We do have a lot of other things that they're struggling with, they're facing. There's mental health. There's like the fact that they're in the NHL and it's very homophobic. And like I did like all that outside of the romance, because I do like the romance, but it's still very spice heavy, but it was definitely less than this one, so I enjoyed this one more, and I ended up giving it 3.75 stars. I just went from Heated Rivalry to Long Game, and I will read the new book that follows Shane and Aaliyah, because I want to see them have their happy ending, but I don't think that I'm going to read all the other ones, like books 3, 4. Yeah, I think those are the ones that I skipped. Yeah, I just don't know. I don't think that I will. Because that first book, I was like, I mean, cute, but not invested. So I just want to read more of Shane and Lilia, unfortunately. Then I reread Say You'll Remember Me, and I read The Night We Met, both by Abby Jimenez, because The Night We Met had just come out, and I could not remember Say You'll Remember Me, so I was like, let me just reread it. I literally, like, read them both, like, on the same day. I think I finished The Night We Met the next day, because they're fairly short romance books, and I gave them both 3.75 stars. I don't know which one I like more. Honestly, I think they're the same, and that's why I rated them the same, but for different reasons. For the first one, Say You'll Remember Me, I didn't really love the romance because it was very insta-lovey. But it didn't bother me because, like, the way that it was insta-lovey, I was like, okay. I mean, it could happen. And so I was just like, whatever. But what I loved about that was the family dynamics. The FMC's mom dealing with the dementia or Alzheimer's, I don't remember what it was. Because that's very near and dear to my heart. I've talked about it before, but my grandma passed away from like complications due to Alzheimer's. And then right out of college, I did Alzheimer's research, and it was like the best job I've ever had. I loved that job. It was really rewarding, really sad at times, but just like ultimately the best job I've ever had. And I wish I could still do it, but that was in Texas. But yeah, I enjoyed that. The second book was it was funny because it's boyfriend's best friend. That's the trope. So she's dating this guy, Mike, but also making eyes at his best friend, Chris. And it was just like, And then Chris is just like the perfect guy. Like there's nothing wrong with him. So yeah, I mean, I didn't love them, but I think the next book we're following Mike, the boyfriend, who is not the boyfriend anymore, I guess. And I think his story might be better because Mike has been struggling with some things. And like, it's just like a little more deeper with him. Like, I feel like his story has potential. So yeah, I'm excited to read that. I read an arc of The Shippers by Catherine Senner. I always get her arcs, but my absolute favorite books by her are The Bodyguard and Hello Stranger. I love those books by her. I own those books by her, and I never bought any other one, even though I've read them. But those are the only ones that I liked enough to reread. This one, again, it was cute. It's a good summary read. It comes out on May 19th, so it's not out yet, but it will be coming out this month. It takes place on a cruise ship, very summer vibes. And the premise is cool. We follow our main girl who is getting married. And her childhood best friend, they did everything together. They were so close, but they had a falling out, haven't talked in years, and he shows up at her wedding. And then he helps her get out of the wedding so she doesn't get married. And it's funny, he doesn't like stop the wedding or anything. No, he just sees that she's freaking out, and he's like, are you okay? And she's like, I don't think I want to do this. And he's like, okay, well, I can help. And so yeah, he just gives her some advice. But the thing about her is that her and her little sister were both engaged to be married, and it was going to be like back-to-back weddings, but the little sister's is on a cruise ship. So everybody embarks on this cruise ship, and she enlists the guy, her ex-best friend, to help her get the other guy, some other guy that she knows is going to be on the cruise ship. This guy's been pining for her forever, and it's so blatantly obvious from like page 1, and she's just oblivious. But it was fun. Nothing crazy though. And then some sequels. First of all, These were anticipated reads for me. I was so excited for them, and unfortunately I didn't love either one. One of them I enjoyed, the other one I did not, and it was my lowest rated book of the month. But let's get to The Thorn Queen first. This is the sequel to The Rose Bargain, and it is now a completed duology, so that's amazing. You can literally read the whole thing. I really enjoyed The Rose Bargain. It is YA romantasy, but it's been compared to The Cruel Prince in the sense that the Fae here are evil little fuckers. You know what I mean? Like, they are those cruel Fae, and they are more than just your super hot, like, typical Fae, like SJM Fae. No, we have like your human like Fae that are super hot, and then we have the other ones, the creepy ones, you know. But I really enjoyed that first book with Follow Ivy Benton, and it is very much a mix of things. So it is fantasy, it's a fantastical world, but it's also like a historical romance. Like, it's a little mix of things because Ivy is just a human girl being presented into society, and she's hoping to find a husband and pull her family out of ruin that her older sister Lydia caused. And she is all about Lydia. She loves Lydia so much. These two sisters love each other. And she really wants to undo Lydia's bargain because in this world, the queen is Fae. And she has a Fae son. They're the only Fae in the human world. Everybody else is just in London, in England. I think book 1, they are strictly in London. But in book 2, they move around. But yeah, she makes bargains with them, and they're not always as they seem, of course, because Fae are tricksy. And so yeah, Ivy's goal is to like save her sister by marrying Brom, the prince, because he is looking for a bride. And yeah, she enlists the other prince's help, Prince Emmett, who is a human because he is the son of the queen's consort. And yeah, I mean, it was really fun, and it leaves off with this like kind of cliffhanger at the end. Book 2, I enjoyed it just as much. I feel like these are good YA reads, and I feel like I will pick them up eventually on paperback. I had the hardcover, the Barnes edition of the first one, but I didn't want to pick up the second one in hardcover because I've been a paperback girl recently. I don't know what it is. I want to get rid of like all my hardcovers and just have paperbacks, but I did enjoy it. 3 stars. Rights of the Starling by Daphne Perry. This was book 2 following Shield of Sparrows. Shield of Sparrows I thought was good. I thought it was solid. I wasn't obsessed. I think I gave it 3.5 stars. We read it in my book club. But I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the banter, you know, between the FMC and the MMC. But I did feel the pacing was a little off. It dragged a lot for me, right? Obviously, my opinion. But, you know, it did end crazy, and I was like, damn, like, what's gonna happen now? But book 2 let me down. Like, I was bored for like 75% of that book. I just felt like nothing was happening. And then we had we were following 2 different couples. Our main couple, Odessa, and what's his face? Ransom. And then we had a new couple. So yeah, different timelines, different storylines going on, and I preferred the other couple other than like over our main couple, which was crazy to me. But yeah, in the end, the reveals and stuff, I was just like, I mean, yeah, that was kind of obvious. So I unhauled the books. I unhauled Shield of Sparrows. I had the really pretty edition. I don't think I'm going to continue. Honestly, I don't think I will unless like people are going crazy over the third one. But people really love the second one. So I think I just always have popular opinions. So maybe I'll listen to like the audio once it comes out and just wrap it up. But I won't be buying it because it didn't work out for me, unfortunately. I was bored, which sucks. Everything else I own. Oh, I gave that 2 stars. That was my lowest rated one. It was too boring for me personally, and I just couldn't. So let's run through these. First up, we have Wildcard by Elsie Silver, which is the 4th and final book in the Rose Hill series. Here they are. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It was solid. This wasn't my favorite series of hers. I still prefer the Chestnut Spring series, but I did like this. I gave it 3 stars. In this, we have ex-boyfriend's dad trope, which sounds scandalous, and really that is what it is. She really fell for her ex-boyfriend's dad, but it's a little bit more than that. But don't get it twisted. That is what it is. So if that's gonna bother you, then maybe don't read this. But I did think it was fun. However, the story itself, not too crazy. Like, the thing is that there's like a third main character in here called Clyde. And I feel like anytime anything was going on with Clyde, I was in it. But their romance was just like, whatever. But Clyde, amazing. I loved him. And then I read Warrior Princess Assassin because I got the audio off of Libby and I was like, okay, this is my time. And I was a little nervous about this because I've never really read a White Shoes, or in this case, it was like it's like a throuple, right? And Warrior Princess Assassin is not one person. They're 3 different people. But I did enjoy it. I felt like it was okay, you know? For a large part of this, there's traveling, but I mean, it wasn't like super boring or anything. It just, nothing crazy happens in this. Again, it's like a kind of a setup book, and at the very end, then we get a reveal, and now we're meant to believe that book 2 is going to be crazy. I ended up giving this one 3.5 stars. I do like the characters. I'm not crazy about any of them. I think my favorite one is the assassin. And one thing I will say, for books nowadays, romantasy books, like the spice is everywhere, even romance, you know, I talked about Heated Rivalry, there was so much spice. The spice in this did not come about till like 85-90% of the way. We got some spice, which I thought was really good because they held out. The tension was tensioning and they held out. But yeah, it wasn't super amazing or anything, but I am intrigued. I do want to go on and read the second one, which I think comes out in November of this year. So we'll see how that goes. I probably will haul this one. It's pretty, but the UK paperback, the art of that, I simply must have it. And then I read And Now Back to You by B.K. Borison, which is book 2 following a First Time Caller. And I actually enjoyed this one more than First Time Caller. Like, I know everybody's obsessed with that first book, but I thought it was okay. Like, I didn't love their love. This one I thought was a little bit better. I still wasn't like super obsessed, but I did like it. I gave it 4 stars. I really liked the MMC, his relationship, not only with her, with Delilah, but with his sisters. He has 2 younger sisters that he's the guardian of, and he has a complicated relationship with his mom. I feel like I loved all that. But I did like them together. They're fun. It's like kind of opposites attract. And I enjoyed that. They're both weather people and they're reporting this big storm on location. Oh no, there's only one bed, you know? Very like typical stuff, but fun stuff. So I did like it. And then I read Next of Kin by Hannah Bonham Young. I believe this was on my TBR. And so I had to read it. And I didn't love this. Honestly, this was probably my second least favorite book. What did I give this one? I gave it 2.5 stars. Yeah, this one and the next one, I gave them both 2.5 stars. And I unhauled it because that's less than 3 stars. Y'all know how I do with that. Like, typically in Bookshelf Ultimatum, if something's under 3 stars, I unhaul it. And it stays true even with the books outside of Bookshelf Ultimatum. I didn't love this. We have 2 people that are taking guardianship of their younger siblings, but they can't do it alone. But there's this program that if like you team up, like she has the house, but he has the income. And so they team up, live together, all 4 of them under one roof. It sounded like something that I would love, but ultimately I just didn't like these characters that much. And so I unhauled that one. Then I picked up Time of Your Life by Jessa Hastings. Listen, I know that Jessa is crazy, but I already own this book and The Conditions of Will, so I will be reading them because I had already put them on my 26 for 2026 before she went on her pro AI rant. So I'm not going to talk about this. I'm not going to like say what it's about. Just know that it was not good. I gave it 2.5 stars, and I'm not saying that just because Jess is crazy. I'm saying that because this was like Magnolia Parks, but way worse. Like, these 2, not likable. Neither were Magnolia and BJ, but just, yeah, no. It's unfortunate because this is beautiful, but I've unhauled this because there's going to be a second book, but honestly, that was just it was not good. And she was doing the same things that she did with Magnolia Parks, like describing the outfits. And it kind of made sense for Magnolia Parks. It didn't super make sense here. I mean, I don't know. It just felt like a knockoff of that. And it just wasn't great. But then, highlight of highlights, after that, I got to read this masterpiece, The Poet Empress by Shen Tao, which my book club chose this as the book club pick for April. And thank you so much. If you're one of the ones on book club, leave a book emoji in the comments so that I know that you're there. But thank you for choosing this book, because I don't think I would have picked it up as fast had you all not picked it. And it was so freaking good, but it was heavy, dude. Like, I couldn't do this in one go. I had to pick it up, read a couple chapters, put it down, because damn, it was dark. It's like a dark fantasy book, but it's a standalone, like, so many pros. This is a debut book, and when you read it and then you think about that, crazy. Like, wow, I cannot wait to see what else she's gonna write. Not only that, it's fairly short. I believe it was under 400 pages. Yes. And it's a whole last story. Like, wow. This is typically how I feel about Taylor Jenkins Reid's books. But that's like, you know, lit fic with a little bit of romance dash, like, sprinkled in there. This is fantasy. And I was just like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. It was so sad though. Check your trigger warnings, because there's some shit going down in this one. So yeah, 5 stars, and my favorite book of the month. So good. And then the last book that I read was Gifted and Talented by Olivia Blake, which I think was also on my TBR for April and one of the 26 and 2026. So I had to read it. This is a book I probably should have DNF'd. I ended up giving it 2.5 stars. I stubbornly didn't DNF it because I wanted to like it. The thing is that we follow 3 siblings, and people have said this is like magical succession. I've never watched that TV show, but that's what the people say. I do like that Olivia always has artwork all throughout her book. Like, there's a bunch of it. There's not just a couple. It's like every couple chapters we get art. And I do like that she does that in her books, but the reason that I was sticking it through was because I just thought it was going to be more than what it was. Like, I was invested. The setup was good. And it just strung me along enough. Like, it held my interest enough that I was wanting to see it through. But it ended so underwhelming. Like, I was like, I should have freaking DNF'd this book. So, yeah, not my fave. And honestly, I don't think all of these for me. I still have 2 more of her books. I've read and unhauled her books. I think I had all the Atlas trilogy unhauled it after I read it. This, read it, will unhaul it, and now I just have Masters of Death and One for My Enemy. And we'll see if I like one of those. If I like one, it'll be a win. If not, I will unhaul it. I've been so good about unhauling books. It literally makes me excited. But yeah, that is it. Those are the 14. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Let me know what your favorite book of April was so that I can add it to my TBR, because as you saw, the ratings were just mid. So let me know what your fave was. And yeah, give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you very soon with another one. Bye.